Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. One thing Warriors fans don't want is for their biggest star Stephen Curry to ask for a trade and go play somewhere else. It will be very difficult to see Curry on another NBA team, given his identification, charisma, success and great basketball. But in the NBA everything is a surprise, and Stephen Curry is upset and wants to win his 5th title, and it won't be impossible for him to ask for a trade. Rumors are getting stronger every day that Stephen Curry will leave the Warriors. As the Golden State Warriors have battled through to a 22-23 record and a place outside the top 10 in the Western Conference, Stephen Curry's future with the franchise has become a growing topic of conversation. Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports declared earlier in the week that the Warriors should blow it up by trading Curry and fellow veteran Draymond Green, allowing the franchise to gather a treasure trove of assets in which to build a new future. The Spurs have been urged to trade for Warriors superstar Stephen Curry. While Curry is not trade eligible prior to the February 6 deadline, his future could become an even hotter topic during the offseason if Golden State can't turn around a form line that's seen them win just 10 of their past 29 games. Potential destinations have already been speculated for Curry were he and the Warriors ever to entertain the idea of parting ways. In the aftermath of O'Connor's thought-provoking piece, Yahoo Sports colleague Tom Haberstroh has urged the San Antonio Spurs to target Curry were he to become available. Haberstroh's main argument is that the Spurs need to take advantage of the remainder of Victor Wembanyama's rookie contract, with the French phenom set to make just over $30 million total across the next 2 seasons. Most importantly, this timeline marries up to Curry's contract after a 1-year extension last offseason. In the following 2 seasons, the Spurs could be getting Curry and Wembanyama for about $76 million annually. Compared to the price tags of other star packages, it's a no-brainer. A Curry-Wembanyama pairing would be a frightening one for opposing NBA fans, particularly if the 2 ex-MVP can remain somewhere near his best as he continues into his late 30s. It's also somewhat possible were the Warriors to make Curry available, with the Spurs one of only a few teams that would have the draft assets and flexibility to actually pull off a deal for the greatest shooter of all time. San Antonio have access to 12 first-round picks and can trade up to 9 of those, leaving them with plenty of ammunition to offer Golden State in such a scenario. The Spurs already acquired a former Warrior guard in Chris Paul during the offseason, but adding Curry would be a completely different level of franchise-altering move that would catapult San Antonio straight back into title contention. For now, Warrior fans will be hoping their team can turn things around and avoid this sort of disastrous scenario where Curry really questions his future with the franchise. Crossroads of the Golden State. The Warriors are facing the same crossroads with Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Steph turns 37 in 3 months, and while he's still a top 10 player, his efficiency and scoring volume are declining. 23 points on 17.1 shots per game, his lowest production since Golden State's pre-playoff days. Curry is also increasingly being targeted for success on defense because he is no longer as quick laterally as he once was. Draymond, who turns 35 in March, remains a great defensive player but is not in his prime as a defensive anchor. Injuries are also starting to pile up. Curry is dealing with a knee issue that has sidelined him for a few games, while Green is dealing with back and calf issues that are causing him to miss time. The signs of decline are apparent, and Father Time is not slowing down. Since winning the 2022 NBA Finals, the Warriors have sneaked into the playoffs once, were eliminated last year in the play-in and are now 21-21 and on the outside looking in at the play-in of a loaded Western Conference. Unless there is a miracle trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo or some other megastar, the race is all but over. That's why Curry, Green and Steve Kerr have spent the entire month talking openly about why they shouldn't trade a promising future to help the shaky present. There's a responsibility to keep the franchise in a good space and a good position when it comes to where we leave this when we're done, Curry said last week. Should the Warriors move on from Steph and Draymond? The two-timeline plan largely failed. With one mistake after another in the draft, Warriors fans have no reason to believe that the Weather owner and general manager Mike Dunleavy can rebuild success going forward. But the draft is difficult. Having more choices gives you more chances. And as of today, Curry and Green are still good enough and have reviewed contracts long enough that the returns could be significant. Warriors' Stephen Curry sets career-worst record in brutal Lakers loss. The Golden State Warriors failed once again to build momentum coming off a nice win, falling 118-108 to the Los Angeles Lakers on Saturday night at the Chase Center. The Warriors trailed by just 1 point at halftime but faltered in the second half, with star Stephen Curry the main culprit of the struggles after the break. In fact, Curry went scoreless in the second half by missing all 8 of his shot attempts, including 4 three-pointers. This marks the first time in the 4-time NBA champion's illustrious career that he has gone scoreless in a half while taking at least 8 shots. Curry finished the night shooting just 4 of 17 from the field and 2 of 9 from three-point range. The Warriors star did have a stellar first half, scoring 13 points and handing out 5 assists to help the Dubs stay competitive. But he just couldn't get anything going in the latter 2 quarters as the Lakers took control of the game. Golden State dropped back below .500 with the loss to sit at 22-23 on the season. While Curry has been dealing with some nagging injuries, including a right thumb issue, he wasn't in the business of making excuses after the game. "It sucks, but it's not an excuse for anything," Curry said, per The Athletic's Anthony Slater. "Gotta play through it. I went 8 for 8 with it. It's just something that's been lingering." Steph Curry's knee tendonitis has improved, but his right thumb has been wrapped during games and he's been seen shaking it in discomfort. "It sucks, but it's not an excuse for anything. Gotta play through it. I went 8 for 8 with it. It's just something that's been lingering." pic.twitter.com/KMBThoeV50. The 8 for 8 Curry is referring to is when he made all 8 three-point attempts in a win over the Philadelphia 76ers on January 2, so he has been dealing with this for a while now. The Warriors legend is still shooting a solid 45.6% overall and 40.8% from three-point range in January, but he has been a bit more inconsistent than usual. Inconsistency has been the name of the game for the Warriors this season. Since their 12-3 start, Golden State hasn't been able to string together many wins. The team hasn't won 3 games in a row since mid-November and is constantly blowing games. The Warriors were riding high coming into Saturday's game, having destroyed the Chicago Bulls 131-106 behind a historic performance by the bench. The bench delivered again versus the Lakers, but it wasn't enough to make up for Curry's rough night. As the Dubs near the trade deadline, everybody is wondering whether they're going to make any more upgrades. The Dennis Schroeder trade hasn't worked out as hoped and signs point to Golden State not making a splash, with Curry, Draymond Green and Steve Kerr all stressing the importance of not making any desperate moves. This mindset has frustrated many fans, given it's obvious Curry needs more help to have a chance at competing. Watching Curry suffer through a brutal night like Saturday makes it all the more painful.